Hi, I'm Andrea Woodside from the Retail Trust, and I'm going to be talking to you about burnout. Now, burnout is a phrase, a term that we use fairly casually. So, for example, I've had a really long day. I might say, I'm feeling burnt out. But actually, true burnout goes a little bit further and it takes much longer to develop. So, what is burnout? Well, what it's not, first off, is a mental health problem. It's not a mental health problem, although if it goes on for a prolonged period of time, then we can develop things such as depression or anxiety. It's essentially a state of emotional, physical, and psychological exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. Now, it's also really important to remember that it doesn't matter what the stressor is. It could be home, it could be work, it could be a combination of the two. So it's less important about what stressor it is. It's more important that we've let it get out of control. It doesn't matter what the source of stress is. What does matter is that there's help and there's hope. When we feel overwhelmed and psychologically drained and we're unable to connect with anything around us, we can find even the most basic of demands on our time incredibly grueling, to the point where we may actually just shut down. At its most extreme, burnout is a state where we don't feel anything. We don't feel connected, we don't feel happy, we don't feel sad, and this is when we really need to get some help. In fact, I would argue, actually, it's really important to get help as early on as possible. So, how do you address burnout? Well, the best way, of course, is to avoid it altogether. But that's not always possible. The paradox of stress is the more stressed we are, the less we notice we're stressed. So, this is about daily stress management. So, to avoid burnout, to give yourself the best chance of avoiding it altogether, is to keep tabs on what's happening on a day to day basis. However, if it's gone a little bit further than that, one of the things you can do is acknowledge what's happening. So, how do we do that? You can write a list of how you're feeling. That can be really helpful to put pen to paper. Even before you talk to anybody, talk to yourself about it. The reality is, we cannot heal from a burn by staying in the fire. That's just a truth of life. So, if you find that you're finding yourself in the fire, the most important thing is to take steps to get out of it. That might include talking to somebody. So you might talk to a friend, a family, somebody who's external to the situation. Maybe you want to speak to your GP. This is important, not because it's a mental health problem, but people who are experiencing burnout also tend to have physical manifestations of what's happening for them. So if you find that you're sleepless or you're having stomach problems or any range of stress related health issues, then seeing your GP is a really good idea. But of course, you can also speak to retailTRUST. You can talk to us 24/7 and speak in confidence to a counselor who won't judge you, who won't tell you what to do, but will listen and honor what's happening for you. Thirdly, this is the tough one. Go to the source of your stress and make steps to deal with it. As we said before, you can't heal from a burn by staying in the fire. And the problem with stress is it piles up. Stress tends to be cumulative. So ignoring it is not going to be helpful. So let's say, for example, you have money problems and you've also got maybe something going on with your family. Maybe somebody is ill. And maybe work is really, really hectic at the moment. And maybe you're not getting along with your partner. The point is that stresses never just come in one. They're kind of like buses. They all come at once, right? Well, what you can do is, again, as we said in step one, write it down. Now that you've written it down, go to the source of it and make a plan to address it. So, for example, if it is a money worry, give retailTRUST a call and we'll be able to guide you through the next steps to help you to take control. Or if it's a family issue, you might want to speak to that family member or to a friend or, again, to retailTRUST. The point is that burnout can be avoided by actually staying on top of the stressors. But if you find out that you're overwhelmed by stress, the best thing you can do is to tackle them step by step. Practicing self-care is also really important. So by self-care, we mean it has to be something that you enjoy. There's no point in doing something for self-care that you loathe. So again, make a list of a few things that you can do for yourself. Maybe that's getting a good sleep. Maybe that's eating healthily. Might be getting some exercise, taking A walk, even at lunchtime, for 20 minutes can do wonders just to ease the stress and give you a clearer head. Or it could be something a little bit more formal, such as yoga or Pilates. Maybe mindfulness is something that you're interested in. In fact, if you visit us at myrtwellbeing.org.uk, you'll find loads of great tips, hints, and ideas for taking good care of yourself. And fifth, take regular breaks. Now, we're not saying take 10 days off unless you feel that you need that space to recover. What we're saying at the earliest stages is even half an hour of a day. Take some time, have a cup of tea, sit and listen to some music or read a book. That time will help you to actually clarify in your own mind your value and your worth. The graveyards are full of indispensable people. That's a Yiddish expression, and one I think is very true. It's important that you don't allow burnout to take over your life because you're worth so much more.